So we're going to start by removing our belt. So we can take a 2.5 L key and loosen that tensioner. And those just loop around the pulleys there. Next, we're going to remove the two pins for the Y-axis limit switch and just set that belt off to the side. Now is a good time to inspect for wear. Next, we're going to remove our pulleys for our lead screws. So we take our ratchet, and that's an 8mm, and that's a 1.5mm Allen key. So we just screw those out, and we use the Allen key to support the pulley while we loosen it, and then we break loose the set screw. So we can remove our pulley. There should be a washer on the bottom of that pulley. And finally, we remove the outer bearing. Now we move on to the other side. So this is a little bit of a better angle to see what we're doing here. So there's that L key, and then I just loosened that nut. It shouldn't take a lot of force to get it off. A ratchet's probably overkill. So we thread that nut off, break loose the set screw. You can use the short end of the L key if it's a little bit easier. If you're worried about stripping that set screw, it's nice to have that flat end to make a better contact with the set screw. So I get that off there, set that off to the side. Make sure you keep track of all the little parts. You don't want to be dropping set screws. So next, we're going to remove the outer bearing. So now that we've located our washer, we're going to move to taking the front plate off. But before we do so, we're actually going to unplug the e-stop so the whole thing will come free easily. Now we're just going to loosen the 4 bolts at the front of the machine on the front plate there. I like to break them free and then remove them all the way, just so the whole thing doesn't pop off, as there are 2 bearings that sit at the end of the lead screws you want to hold on to. So we're going to back those off. And then I remove one side and see how it pops loose. And then we just remove the other side that we've already broken loose. Again, flat side, if everything's torqued down really hard, you might need a little bit of extra torque to break those loose. Now the front plate can come off, and you see those bearings actually stay in those little holes. Sometimes they pop out. Now we can grab the inner bearing on the back plate. Usually they come off with the lead screws when you pull the gantry forward. So now we've moved the gantry forward, and we can just thread out the lead screws for the Y-axis. Now's a good time to clean, re-grease, inspect for damage or wear. Any of the parts that you're removing at this point, as you won't really be getting in here a whole lot, or you shouldn't be. So now we're going to thread out the left side lead screw. I like to make sure that these are flat and true and roll smoothly and don't have any bends in them.